Tell me about the program. Can we have a brief summary of the program that has brought you to Nigeria for the third time, especially in the line of really articulating the core message of the lectures and the seminars you've been having, and the impact you hope to have in the lives of those who have been with you since yesterday?
Thank you very much. The course is designed, it's called the Seerah Solution. Seerah is the Arabic word which means biography or the life story of Muhammad, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The concept of this is, I've been thinking about this and reflecting on this. I've written a book also on this. It's called The Seerah is the Answer. And that is that 7th century Makkah, where the Prophet Muhammad was born and he grew up, if you look at it from a political angle, from an economic angle, from a socio-economic angle, it was very similar to our world today. And in that environment, the Prophet ﷺ was able to bring about amazing changes which converted that society into a compassionate, moral, ethical society. So my contention is that if that happened then, using a certain method, then if we use the same method today, then we can replicate that in whichever place we go to. And that's why I designed this course. I have identified 8 different things that we need to do in order to bring about changes in our lives. And my contention, my belief is that if people do that, then inshallah we will be able to create ethical, moral, compassionate societies wherever we are. So even though this course is based on the life of the Prophet of Islam, this course is not restricted to Islam and Muslims. This is good inshallah for anybody. Whether you are a Muslim or not, you believe in Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as a prophet or not, doesn't matter. As long as you do those things, then inshallah this will bring about goodness wherever we are. So that is what I'm trying to do. Here we are doing this course in Nigeria for the first time. We've done this in India before. We are going to do it in Sri Lanka in February, in Qatar in March, and in different countries inshallah as we go forward. The idea is to take this message across the world to as many people as possible and tell them that look, let us try to model our lives and our behaviors on principles of ethics and morality, principles of justice, principles of non-discrimination, principles of equality. These are the principles to live by. Today we seem to live in a world which is defined only by one principle, which is profit and money, nothing else. We even talk about people in terms of net worth, and by that we mean how much money do they have. Now that's a very bad way of representing somebody, a human being, to say that net worth means that he is worth so much money. I mean, we are talking about a human being, you're not talking about a cow or a horse. You know, this is worth so much. We're talking about a human being, and the human being has to be worth, you cannot measure the worth of a human being in terms of money. So my contention is we measure our worth in terms of our character, the way we behave, the impact we have around us. That is something for us to look at, and that's why this course.
And I'm going to be pointing out some practical things I saw between yesterday and now. For example, today, the reason why I'm asking these questions is that many of the core audience that you've spoken to, at least for today's program, are professionals, homekeepers, wives and husbands, fathers, and what have you. So in the everyday practicality of living their life here on earth, there are challenges here and there. And one of the things you said today is that our life should be much more than the end justifies the means. The end should be pleasing, the means and the end should be pleasing to Allah. Can you buttress that for us?
Okay. See, the principle in Islam, as I said, was we don't say that the end justifies the means, and we don't say that the means justifies the ends. Both the end and the means must justify each other and must please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in terms of our lives, the thing that I say is that, like you said very correctly, we are homemakers, we are business people, we are industrialists and whatever else, academics, teachers. How we behave, what we do, how we do is a living, walking, talking model, demonstration of what is good. This is how it should be. to say that we must become living, walking, talking models, demonstration of the way of life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if we do that, then we will become like beacons, like lamps which light up a dark place. So I always say that everything boils down to one person, and that person is me. I can't influence you, I can't influence anybody else, but I can influence myself. And if I change myself, then the hope is that this will result in positive change around whoever comes into contact with me. And that same thing applies to everybody else. So that's the message that we are trying to give here.
And also, yesterday you said, I mean, you more or less paraphrased it, but it had a big impact on me. In fact, I put it on WhatsApp immediately. And you said, if you don't want to be hurt by unjustified criticism, do not enjoy unjustified praise. In the context of the message you brought through the program, just basically teach our viewers the core of the message in that statement.
You know, that statement is actually, thank you for pointing out, that statement is actually a statement of one of our great scholars, Imam Shafi rahmatullah, and he said that if you don't want to be hurt by unjustified criticism, don't feel happy, don't look for unjustified praise. Meaning that like the Americans say, you say get real. Meaning look at yourself, recognize yourself, don't fool yourself, don't lie to yourself. And when we look at ourselves, then we are faced with both the things. One is, alhamdulillah, we have some strengths, so we are happy about that. But also we need to look at our weaknesses, we need to look at things in ourselves which we need to change. And we say, how can I bring about that change? That is why if you would have noticed, at the end of each session, we have this exercise where people are saying, what will I start doing, what will I stop doing, what will I continue to do? And that whole thing is based on this understanding that end of the day, I need to change myself in a way which becomes positive. No matter what I did till today, maybe I was not such a great person till today, but my life begins, like the old saying, they say today is the first day of the rest of my life. So it's like that. So from today, I'm going to start doing, and I will become more, whichever way I want to change myself. So that's the message we are trying to say, that whatever you did, from today we have an opportunity. Let us change to become more ethical, moral, compassionate, kind people. That's the purpose. That's the whole idea.
Now you go around the world. You see the world. You're basically, perhaps if I may put it correctly, a global citizen, because you address different races, different colors, different creeds, different backgrounds, orientation, and even different goals in life. But I want to ask you, the message you give to Nigerians and the message you give to Sri Lankans, possibly even the message you take to America, do you capture the diversity of opinions, the diversity of even religion and beliefs in the world? Do you appreciate that? And does that influence how you deliver your message?
Yes, I try to do that. I try to capture the diversity, the differences. My whole growing up also was very diverse. I was born in India, and I grew up school, college in India. After that, I spent 5 years of my life in West Indies, in South America. And I lived in a village in the Amazonian rainforest, I was the only Indian Muslim in that place. I was the only Muslim in that place. There was no other Muslim. I was alone. And all the others were either African West Indian or they were Amerindians. So I grew up in a very diverse environment. So a lot of my friends are people who are not like me at all. And so therefore I am able to see the beauty and the goodness in people. I like to look at that and say what is good in people. Now there are obviously negative things in people, but it's up to us to choose what we want to see. So therefore, and bring it back now to the Syrah, to the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you look at his companions, people around him, he had black African people, he had people who came from the north, from Syria, he had people from Iran, he had Persians, he had Arabs, so in his life, in his world, it was a very diverse gathering. He was not sitting in the middle of his own family and tribe. He had people from all kinds, and one of his major achievements, if not the most major achievement, was the ability to bring together all of this diversity and mold it and weld it into one brotherhood. I think this is a huge challenge as far as we are concerned. Today, from where we are sitting, you are sitting, I am sitting, this sometimes it seems impossible. You say, how can we do that? People are so different. In Nigeria, you've got different tribes, you've got different, in terms of the world, we've got people of different races and so on. It's okay to say we should all be together, but really, is it possible? Sometimes you think about this question. It's nice to say that, but is it doable? Can it be done? And the answer is, well, it was done. History is witness that it was done. And so why can't we do it today? So let us look at what is it that helped him to do that. And I think one of the key things that helped him to do that was the ability to always keep focusing on the positive in people. Leave out the negative. And many times when we say negative, we really mean different from me. It's not negative in itself. It's just that I am not like that. So what? I mean, if I am going to make myself the standard of goodness, that itself is arrogance. I'm not a standard of goodness. I am me. I mean, whatever it is, right? And you are different from me. That does not make you bad or me good or you bad or The point is that if we can look at people and appreciate the differences. I even say sometimes, don't even use the word tolerance. Don't say I'm a tolerant person, because we tolerate things which are negative. Right? Nobody tolerates dark chocolate. Nobody tolerates, triple Sunday ice cream. We love it. We don't tolerate it. So I'm saying what we must look at differences of people and say, how can I appreciate that difference? How can I value that difference? And not a question of toleration. So if we focus on this one, then inshallah we bring together diversity. Whether it's of gender or race or color or creed, we can bring it all together.
In all your travels all over the world, let us limit it to Africa. What is that single thing that you get in people that they desire the most? When you mix material needs, spiritual needs, health problems and what have you, what is that single thing that's everywhere you've gone to that people seem to desire the most?
I have, let me tell you before I answer that, I've been to South Africa many times. I've been to Namibia, to Botswana, to Mozambique, and then to Nigeria. So fair amount of Africa is a whole continent, but several countries I've been to. Because of the countries also, I have interacted with people who are from different tribes in different places. So these are not just labeling somebody as African. I think is incorrect, because there's no such thing. I mean, people from different tribes and countries and so on, obviously different religions as well. One of the things that my experience of Africa and Africans is, I have found here a lot of gentleness, a lot of compassion, a lot of kindness, which I don't find in other places. Right? For example, I'm sitting in Botswana outside my friend's office. 3 little boys, maybe about 12 years old or so, they are walking past, and these are literally village boys. But as they go past, they say, "Good morning, sir." I don't know of any other country where you would see this. Here, I'm a stranger. I don't even look like them. I mean, I'm just sitting there. But they see an older man, so obviously something good is happening in their homes. This is how children are being brought up in Botswana, where they are taught to be polite to older people. Here, when I landed in Abuja, in the airport, apart from the fact that the immigration and so on, very efficient, work like magic, people are, the police people, they, "Please have a seat, sir." He makes you, we are waiting, but there's no sense of, in any other place, there would be many places I can think of where you feel very threatened, that you are now waiting, we don't know what's going to happen and so on, somebody's taken your passport and gone away, we don't know who the guy is, how can I find him? Not here. It said, "Please have a seat." I'm sitting. "The passport is over there, sir. They are working on it. They'll be with you in a second." I come out to the customs area. Now it looks like a marketplace, because a lot of people milling around and so on, but not one single raised voice. No one pushing and shoving, no one being rude to each other. Very nice, kind people helping each other, putting things down. Sure, they're not standing in a line, who cares? So this is the kind of atmosphere that I find, wherever I go in Africa. What is the one single thing that I find people want? In Africa, everywhere else. Today, the only thing that people seem to want is money. everywhere is the same thing. People seem to want to have money. Now, I'm not against it. I mean, obviously we need to have a living, we need jobs, we need work and so on. But when you get to this single point focus of money, then it gets to the point of saying, I want this no matter what. And that's why, to me, the danger that this African culture, which comes from the ground, which comes from the roots, which is based in families, which is based in respect for elders, youngsters, this can go away because you're focusing only on this issue of money. I remember in South Africa, a very interesting thing happened. I was in a game reserve, and there was a white ranger, young guy, who was taking us around. And there was a black African Zulu tracker who was with us in this. Now, I could see there was a lot of tension between these two people. For whatever reason they had, I mean, their own personal, relationships, a lot of tension. And I could see that that Zulu tracker was somebody who was really not being cooperative at all, and he didn't like this guy. I don't know what the guy did or didn't do. At the same time, I saw there was a very elderly man sitting there, Zulu also, sitting by the side in one place. So I went up to that man and I said to him, Salam Baba. So he looked at me, he said, you said Baba? I said, yes. He said, that is our language. I said, it's also my language. We say this for our father. So he said, come sit here. So I sat down by him. So he said, you came for this games reserve? And I said, yes, yes. He called the Zulu tracker. He said, come here, he came here. Then he spoke to me. Now, I don't know if he's Zulu, but he spoke to him, and my sense was, he told him, look, make sure this man gets to see whatever he has to see. Don't let your, tension affect this. Now, I'm saying this is African culture for me. I mean, as far as I see, there's a question of family. So, but this focus on money only is something that we need to watch for. By all means, we need employment, we need good economies, strong economies. But if it is coming at the expense of our culture, of our traditions, then I think it's a very expensive bargain. So it's very important to instill this in people and say, by all means, look for the good things of life, but make sure that you maintain the fabric of our culture and our society. And I'm saying our, I'm not African, but I'm saying our in the sense that we have a lot of commonalities between my culture in India, where I grew up, the Muslim culture and the African culture. There are many commonalities.